the Random Nerdy Podcast, with your hosts Brett O'Donnell and Justin Smith.
Welcome everyone to the Let's Play number 2 of the Random Nerdy Podcast. I'm Brett.
I'm Justin. Again.
Once again. And we are doing a Let's Play because we're tired and we don't want to do any podcast episodes yet.
No, not yet.
We are currently the podcast with 0 episodes.
That's
so
right.
We plan to launch by fall, so I would say let's look out for us, but we'll see if that happens.
Oh, it's gonna happen, and it's gonna be epic.
Or it's gonna fail epically. Either way.
That's kind of what yeah, it's gonna suck for a while.
But maybe it won't. I like to think of us as the original Star Trek of podcasts.
Yeah, it kind of sucked, but it's still legendary.
Right.
I mean,
very low budget. You know, okay, on Star Trek, it's kind of funny. Sometimes the doors in there. Oh no! Don't go in the goal. There we go. All right. Sometimes the I totally just missed the ball. Get out of the way. Okay. Sorry. I will say what I actually meant to say in half a second when I'm done. Okay, in Star Trek, the original series.
Right. Sometimes the doors,
like, on set didn't work, and so they'll, like, bang on them. That was cool teamwork. Awesome.
that
But,
was
like,
all me.
if you watch it, sometimes they, like, the sliding doors are supposed to open, and they, like, bang on them and they don't. It's because the doors on the actual set didn't work. Because it was...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the original Star Trek was so low budget that they actually, like, those doors actually didn't work, and they didn't do a second take because money reasons.
Actually, I love Star Trek, and I love the original cast. I just don't like the original series, the television show. I found it boring and really, corny, and I couldn't stand William Shatner. But I could deal with him for the movies. I love the movies. Even, what was that one called? Journey Home or The Voyage Home? The Free Willy movie they did. That was still good. They time traveled back to when whales existed. Spock talked to it, and then they brought it back to the future, and whales saved the planet. That's a true story.
That's awesome. I've never been into Star Trek. I was raised on Star Wars, and of course, when I was a kid, Netflix didn't exist. So
Right.
I've never really been much into Star Trek, but now that Netflix exists, there's nothing stopping me. I am not in the
Blockbuster
goal.
was a thing.
Yeah, but I was too
Ooh,
young
I
to drive
scored
to the. I was too young to drive to the Blockbuster. And then when I did get to go to Blockbuster, I wanted to rent a game. I didn't want to rent a show or a movie.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I'd want a movie, but I usually went there for the games too.
Renting games at Blockbuster was just like the coolest thing ever.
It was, and you know what? I never got into GameFly. Like, I still never, I never had a GameFly account.
I never, when GameFly was a thing that was necessary, I wasn't really using the internet much. Like, I'm pretty bad at using internet, what's the word I'm looking for? Internet conveniences.
Is GameFly still a thing?
I don't really know if it's necessary. I think people, for the most part, just, like...
I'm sure it's not necessary. What with Steam and digital downloads on PlayStation Network and Xbox Live.
Well, I doubt that people who would use GameFly were using it for PC games in the first place.
Right.
But...
They're using it for consoles.
Mm-hmm. But,
But I mean, I don't think Redbox needs to be a thing, but it's still a thing. Wow. You kinda...
yeah.
That was kind of your fault, but it wasn't. If you
That
watched,
was- no,
if you
that was my
watched me, I also stalled out. I'm just talking and not paying attention to what I'm doing, so the gameplay is really bad. I'll go. So which is your favorite Star Wars movie?
My favorite Star Wars movie?
That's right.
I think I'm probably most nostalgic about A New Hope because my like entrance into like sci-fi and all that stuff in general. Obviously, like kids kind of get exposed to fantasy at an earlier age than they get exposed to sci-fi, I think. But my like my initial exposure to sci-fi, I still remember vividly. I was 4 years old, and block that! There you go. I was 4 years old, and my mom had gone away for the weekend, and my dad rented A New Hope and got Chinese food. That was also my entrance into Chinese food, surprisingly. I was 4 years old. He rented A New Hope and
Oh my god.
got
Dump
Chinese
that.
food.
That was just bad.
That was pretty bad on my part too.
How old were you?
4.
4.
Yes.
You remember, this must be one of your oldest memories.
I had a very high IQ when I was young. My oldest memory is actually when I was 3. People don't believe me on that, but I remember getting my diaper changed when I was 3, and my sister and her friend were standing over me saying, "Ooh." That's all I remember about that
believe you
situation.
because some of my earliest memories are of me soiling myself as well. I remember living in these apartments. I had to be 3 or 4, and I pissed myself, and my brother's friend asked me if I was playing with the hose. So, yeah. Anyways.
So, that information aside, block that. There you go. Nice.
He's
So
heating
my
up.
dad.
He's in fuego.
Oh, go it! Go! Woohoo! Nice shot.
That was beautiful.
Nothing but net. All right. Time to finish this story. Dad rented New Hope. 4 years old. Chinese food. Liked Chinese food. Liked Star Wars a lot. He was worried I would be scared of the monsters and stuff, but I
Right.
just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I just, I thought the lightsabers were so cool because I loved swords. I've always been more of a sword person than a gun person. So I typically prefer RPGs over. Oh, nice shot! Nice shot. I've
Thank
typically
you.
preferred RPGs over shooters, but yeah, New Hope is very, very nostalgic for me. Favorite movie though is tougher. I really don't know. I think it's possibly
Sith.
no.
Revenge of the Sith.
I think for me it was probably Return of the Jedi. Because
Really?
because Return of the Jedi had pretty much everything. It had lots of action and awesome battles. Good for the time lightsaber duels and fight choreography. Happy ending. It had everything. I watched this movie when I was like probably 4 or 5 because after I watched the first one and loved it so much, my mom bought me the whole set of VHSs, and Empire Strikes Back was a little bit too dark for me at that age. I really liked Return of the Jedi. Just it has everything in it, in my opinion. Why? Which is your favorite?
Hit ready and I'll tell you.
My bad. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I just thought that was funny. It's a tough one for me. It's between A New Hope and Revenge of the Sith, which is weird because I'm older than you, and most people my age don't like the prequels, but I like them.
Yeah, I like, me personally. A lot of people my age hate the prequels, but I feel like a lot of them hate the prequels because it's popular. I know for a classic and deeply rooted Star Wars fan, I can see why there would be the dislike, especially of Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace.
Midichlorians and
Yeah.
bad child acting. But Revenge of the Sith for me, it's like I love the dark side of the Force. Every video game where you get an option, like how you play determines what you're going to be at the end, I always end up being a Sith. I love the dark side of the Force, and I loved his descent into madness and the evolution of him turning into Darth Vader.
Yeah. I agree. I think you know, I pretty much every game I play good. I don't really ever play evil just because I don't know, I kind of when I play games where you get the choice to be good or evil, I kind of end up playing an idealized version of myself. So I always end up being good. So I don't know, I just always go for the good guy. And the problem I have with Revenge of the Sith is just that I don't really like Anakin's character that much. Have you seen the Clone Wars TV show?
You know what? I haven't watched that. I've seen a few episodes and I thought it was pretty good, but it was
like,
a little too kid friendly. If that makes any sense to you.
You know, I mean,
it wasn't dark enough for me.
Well, first of all, it's for kids, number one. So, I mean that, you know, as some reason it's not as enjoyable for you. I understand that, but you know, it is for kids, so that's to be expected. But it really is, I think, a lot less kid-friendly than I thought it would be. I've been watching it a lot recently, and I had seen a couple of seasons before I started watching it on Netflix recently, but not the whole series. And it's actually a lot darker, I guess. Not dark, but a lot less kid-friendly than I expected, I think, because they actually do like show deaths and
I've seen some compilation videos on YouTube, and I thought it was pretty cool. And I started watching it, but I just fell out of it recently because I was busy.
Yeah, I get that.
All right, new question. Also Star Wars, because that's just my favorite thing to talk about. What's your favorite Star Wars game?
KOTOR. KOTOR or Battlefront. I liked. Let's see. I also liked Bounty Hunter, of course. Also liked Bounty Hunter. Sorry, I'm concentrating on the ball. Got to keep your eye on the ball.
It's in there.
Oh, that's in there. No, I don't. I don't need to keep my eye on the ball at all. Moore does that for me. Or Justin does that for me. Either person.
Same guy.
Yeah, same guy. Two different sides. But, Battlefront 1 and 2, KOTOR 1 and 2, I do like the second one, unlike some people. I don't really know why. The second one was pretty similar.
Was the second one you start out on a ship, you wake up, you're in some kind of like deep sleep, like you're injured?
Both of those,
okay,
actually.
they both start out the same?
You have amnesia at the beginning of KOTOR 1, but you're not like
when I played then.
physically injured. Which one did you find the woman lying on the bed, the old lady lying on the bed? Did you play that one?
I don't think I got that far into it.
No, that was at the very beginning of the second one.
Okay, that was the second one.
And then at the beginning of the first one, you've got Red Knight Needle. You wake up and a guy comes in and your ship is under attack. On the second one, you wake up with amnesia also, I believe, but you're on like a mining colony on an asteroid.
Okay, that's the one I played. Which is that?
It's deserted. That's KOTOR 2.
Okay, that's the one I didn't play one then, but it's being re-released, so
yes,
I will be playing it.
Have you seen any information on that? I've only heard that they're possibly re-releasing it, but I haven't seen like.
I've heard it from a very reliable source that it's going to be digitally remastered and re-released.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be
awesome.
awesome.
Reliable source was you though, so. Oh, that was almost in there. I hope that's true.
Yeah, me too. I forget where I heard that, but if it was re-released, that would be awesome. I would be so excited.
Right. I don't know. For me,
I've also
I really liked Battlefront. I really liked Battlefront. I played that for hours. Thought that was just awesome. And I love the first Force Unleashed. Thought that was really good. And the story itself was kind of stupid, but the gameplay was just incredible. That's in there.
100%. The gameplay itself is really the big striking strength of Force Unleashed. It's so much fun to just throw stormtroopers around.
Yeah, and the skins was fun too. To play as Obi-Wan or Darth Maul. That was nerdy role-playing fun for me.
See, I only played it at a friend's house. I didn't actually have it, so I don't think I ever got to that part. But have you ever played the game Destroy All Humans?
Yes, that was a pretty fun game.
That was
for
an
original
awesome
Xbox.
Game.
I had that.
And that game kind of reminded me of, or the Force Unleashed kind of reminded me of Destroy All Humans because you just got to.
You just got to run around fucking shit up.
Like it, I think the just sandboxy feel of Destroy All Humans was better because, Force Unleashed was not a sandbox game really, and I guess, technically, Destroy All Humans wasn't either, but Force Unleashed was kind of a sort of like a more streamlined track kind of game. You went down a level and finished, whereas Destroy All Humans was just ridiculous, and blowing stuff up was incredible.
Yes, that was a good game.
The second one wasn't bad either, but I think I had more fun in the first one. In the first one, though, I never played it the legitimate way. As soon as this was after Hurricane Rita. I live in Texas, so we went farther into Texas. I live in Houston. We went farther into Texas to get away from the Hurricane Rita, which didn't actually end up doing much at all. But went to Dallas and had two of my friends stay there for a few days, and we just played Destroy All Humans 1 the entire time, and we found a cheat that lets you get infinite psychic ability. Your bar never ran out. So we just spent, each one of us would take turns, and we just spent the entire time throwing tanks at people. It was awesome. That was such a good game.
And back to oldest memories. I think the oldest memory I have, it was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I don't know how old I was, like 4-ish, maybe younger than that. And I think this is my oldest memory. I remember my dad coming home with that game, him sitting up against the couch, like on the floor like a kid, with his back against the couch, playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, was it newish at that point, or?
It was brand new, so...
Oh, wow.
Whenever that came out. A quick Google search would find the answer to that, but I'm not going to do that, and no one really gives a shit.
Well, I played Punch-Out when I was young too, but N64 had already been out by then. And I think I must have been really young when I played it. I think under 10 when I played that, because I don't think my friend and I beat a single fight.
Like you couldn't beat Glass Joe. That's sad.
Well, we had so much fun playing this game, but we could not beat a single fight. And I think we had this glove that.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, and
the power glove.
The power glove. And
everyone thought that. I already know what you're gonna say. Right. Everyone thought that when you wore the power glove, you could just punch, and that your character would punch, and you could like, hold it up and you would block. But really, it was just this thing.
You moved your fingers to control it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just your fingers, not your.
No, and it never worked worth the shit. So people just end up playing it like a normal controller that was just stuck to your wrist.
Yeah, I think people expected it to be the quality of the Duck Hunt gun.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, back then the Duck Hunt gun. It's a pretty cool thing.
Oh, that was
but-
high tech.
Block it more! No.
Oh
it's not
no.
gonna- Block
Yeah,
it, Justin. I really need to get used to calling you Justin. Just for anybody listening, I keep calling him Moore because we met like 8 years ago on World of Warcraft, and that was his main, was Moreland. So I've always called him Moore.
I can't remember if we talked about this in the last
No, I don't think
Let's
so.
Play or not, but I thought I made up the name Moreland.
Oh yeah, we talked about
I
that.
like spelled phonetically how I pronounce Moreland. But it turns out that Moreland is actually a Scottish name, meaning grassy home on the marsh or something weird.
Ah,
Just stole that from
interesting.
you. Yeah, no, it's not.
very, very interesting. I'm gonna write that down. You know what O'Donnell means? Which is my last name. I know I
no.
have to have told you this before because I tell everybody. O'Donnell
I have no idea. That's
means
in there.
it means ruler of the world.
No, it doesn't.
It does. Wikipedia it.
I'll Urban Dictionary it in a
That's
couple
not-
days after I give it a new definition. And I'll link it to you. It'll be flattering, I'm sure.
But no, it really does.
It really does?
Like,
You're not joking?
Yeah, look it up on Wikipedia.
I'm going to. I believe you.
Oh my god, I cannot hit aerials.
Try to hit Sebastian instead. Ooh, nice save. For anyone listening, Sebastian is actually the little fish friend of Ariel, the Little Mermaid.
He's actually an arthropod.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he's
Wait.
a crab.
Oh, okay. Well, what was the... Oh, Flounder. Thinking of Flounder. I deserve to get dunked on for that.
Yep.
I have failed you, Disney. Isn't it, for me, it's really weird that Disney now owns Star Wars and Marvel.
Yeah.
It's like I've always loved Marvel and Star Wars, and I've always loved Disney, especially like the musical movies like Aladdin, Lion King. And I'll still watch them to this day, but I just never tell anybody. So it's like really weird that all my favorite things are combined in this one ball of shame. That was sad. That was a sad goal.
Yeah, that really was.
That's another ball of shame.
But yeah, Disney. You know, I don't really like the fact that Disney owns all this stuff because they, typically create content that's geared towards kids, I think, more so than they're geared towards me. But the one thing that I'm really psyched about though, about them owning this stuff is the fact that they have so much resources that they'll be able to continue all of these franchises that I love.
Yes, and it
So that's-
also opens the possibility to have some very awesome Disneyland amusements.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're making a Star Wars themed
Oh,
park.
dunk it.
Damn
They're
it!
making a Star Wars park?
Yeah, what? I don't know if it's not going to be like Epcot or anything, but I think they're making a little mini park.
Oh, so it's going to be like Toontown.
No, I think it's actually going to be bigger than that. Maybe I'm wrong. I do know that they're making something like that though. Disney's got something in the works.
That's cool. What I'd really like to go to that I haven't yet is Universal Studios to go to Springfield. Because I have high ambitions of going to Springfield, getting drunk at Moe's, and getting kicked out and banned from the park permanently.